Hi everyone, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. In this lesson we are going to look at another very important verb in the present tense in German. This is the verb schlafen. Schlafen means to sleep, and schlafen is a stem changing verb. In our last lesson we had a stem changing verb, so this is another important stem changing verb. We're going to look at this verb in the present tense, das Präsens, and the first question is, why do you call it a stem-changing verb? In order to understand what a stem-changing verb is, it's first important to understand what a regular verb is. So let's take a look very quickly at a regular verb that we've already had, and that's the verb gehen, to go. So a regular verb is a verb that when you conjugate it, the root does not change. So what is the root? That leads us to the next question. Well, what is the root? Well, when I remove the en, what you're left with is what we call the root or the stem. It's the same thing. Root and stem is the same thing. So let's go ahead and go through the simple process of finding the stem. So the rule is to find the root of the stem, remove the n or the en ending from the infinitive. So this is the infinitive. Remember that the infinitive is just a verb that hasn't been conjugated yet. It has no person, no subject, and it has no time, past, present, or future. It's just the verb itself. So we have gehen, so we're going to remove the en, and we're left with the stem. So here's the stem. So in a regular verb, the stem will not change. We're going to use the same endings that we use in the present tense. So these endings you're already familiar with, and we're going to add those endings to the stem. So when we do that, we have I go, ich gehe, du gehst, geht, sie gehen. Notice that the stem is the same in all of these forms. Okay, these are the singular subjects here. Let's look at the plural subjects. Wir gehen, ihr geht, sie gehen, and sie gehen. So notice the stem did not change. So this is a non-stem changing verb. You can think of a regular verb as a non-stem changing verb. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at schlafen. Schlafen is the stem changing verb. So schlafen means to sleep. If I remove the en, I'm left with the stem. This is the stem, schlaf. But what's going to happen when I conjugate this verb, in some of the forms, the stem will change. So I'm going to have actually two forms. I have schlaf and schläf. Schlaf and schläf. Notice how the umlaut changes the pronunciation. Schlaf, schläf, schlaf, schläf. Okay, so how do you know which forms take schlaf and which forms take schläf? Well, that's just a matter of memorization through practice. That's what native speakers do. So let's go ahead and look at the different forms. So here's the first one, I sleep. It does not change for ich, so I just add my ending. Remember the ending for ich is I. So I have the verb conjugated. Ich schlafe. I sleep. Ich schlafe. Next we have you sleep. This is the informal you, which is du. So notice the du form has the altered form of the stem. So this is the stem that has changed. So you still add the same endings. The endings are not different. The endings don't change. So for du, we add the st ending. The pronunciation is different. Schläfst, du schläfst. You sleep, du schläfst. Okay, on to the next one. The he form. So and notice it is the altered form of the stem, so it's also schläf, and remember the ending for is just the t. Schläft, he sleeps. Sie also has the different stem, and the ending is also the t. Sie schläft, she sleeps. You, this is the formal you, singular, talking to one person. The sie with the capital S, notice it has the capital. And notice that we went back to the original stem. So sie schlaf. And now all I have to do is add my ending here, which is en. Sie schlafen. Sie schlafen. You sleep. Okay. So notice ich and sie have the original stem, and du, and sie have the altered form of the stem. Okay. And these are the only three forms that have the different stem. Okay. The plural forms all use the schlaf stem. So let's look at the plural forms now. So this is very simple. There are no changes here. So we would say wir at your ending. Wir schlafen. You sleep. This is the informal you, plural. Ihr schlaft. Ihr schlaft. You sleep. This is the sie again. And this is addressing more than one person. Sie schlafen. Sie schlafen. And finally, they. Remember, they is also sie, but not capitalized. So we have sie, and then add the ending, sie schlafen. They sleep. So there you have it, the entire verb conjugated in the present tense. Again, learning the different forms is mostly just a matter of practice. You memorize through practice. That's what native speakers do. Okay, so the only thing really left to do is the fun part, to apply what you've learned to start speaking in complete sentences in German here. So we have just 3 expressions to help us practice and make complete sentences. So we have gut, which means well, nicht gut, not well, and a very interesting expression here, wie ein Murmeltier. Wie ein Murmeltier means like a groundhog. So schlafen wie ein Murmeltier is to sleep like a groundhog. So groundhogs are known for going into a deep sleep, hibernation during the winter. This would be equivalent to the English expression to sleep like a log. So let's have a little fun and make some complete sentences here. So if you want to say I sleep well in German, you would say ich schlafe gut. Ich schlafe gut. I don't sleep well. Literally, I sleep not well. Ich schlafe nicht gut. Ich schlafe nicht gut. I sleep like a log. Ich schlafe wie ein Murmeltier. Next we have he sleeps, schläft. If you want to say he sleeps well, just put it all together. Schläft gut. Schläft gut. He doesn't sleep well. Schläft nicht gut. Schläft nicht gut. He sleeps like a log. Schläft wie ein Murmeltier. Remember, you're literally saying he sleeps like a groundhog, but it means he sleeps like a log in English. Okay, and finally, we sleep. Wir schlafen. Wir schlafen. We sleep well. Wir schlafen gut. Wir schlafen gut. Wir schlafen gut. We don't sleep well. Wir schlafen nicht gut. Wir schlafen nicht gut. Wir schlafen nicht gut. We sleep like a log. Wir schlafen wie ein Murmeltier. Wir schlafen wie ein Murmeltier. Wir schlafen wie ein Murmeltier. Okay, well, congratulations. Ich gratuliere. You now know how to use the verb schlafen in the present tense in German. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this lesson helpful, I would appreciate it very much if you'd give it a like. To continue learning and go on to another lesson, click on the video that appears here on your screen. See you soon. Bis bald.